I ended up coming back to Buckley Air Force Base for the second time to be in command of a space-based missile warning unit. It was the 11th Space Warning Squadron. It does a fantastically important mission for our country. It's one of a couple of units there at Buckley Air Force Base that do that mission. It's phenomenally important. And just like you, I had difficulty with the fact that our units were being politicized in 2020 while I was in command with a radical left-wing politicization. It was a Marxist-rooted critical race theory indoctrination and subversion of our troops that is intended to divide. And even people with the best of intentions can unfortunately get caught up in some of that critical social justice activism that, as you've seen, undermines organizations throughout the country, the education system. It has the same effect in our military, of course, and unity is the strength of our military. We talk a lot about diversity, and diversity, when properly couched or in its proper context, of course, provides a certain degree of strength in its own right. But make no mistake about it, the strength of the United States military is its unity. And that unity comes regardless of some of our differences. It comes regardless of the ways in which we pretend to be valuing diversity and inclusion today. It comes because we share the same mission. It comes because we take the same oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, which always was and still is worth defending. And of course, if you read the Constitution, you think, well, how is it that we swear an oath to support and defend that? I don't quite get it. Well, it has to be understood in the context of the Declaration. And the Judeo-Christian principles, roughly speaking, Judeo-Christian principles that are couched in the Declaration. I trace through some of the history of that language, by the way, in my book, Irresistible Revolution. I want service members to go in and look at these things and to figure out why it's important to them. It's not just the language of the Constitution or the document itself that you sign up to swear an oath to support and defend. It has to be understood in the context of the underlying basic assumptions about reality and the founding principles of our country that are in the Declaration. It has to be understood in the context of what was fought for and secured during the Civil War. It has to be understood in the context of what emerged in the aftermath of a civil rights movement and civil rights law. All of those things matter if you're to properly understand exactly what it is that you're signing up, and signing up you're willing to put your flesh on the line. You're willing to put blood in the game for the quote-unquote Constitution of the United States against all of its enemies, foreign and domestic. Look into it. Understand what it is that you're signing up for. You know, in that spirit or in that vein, it's why every time I had a service member reach out to me and ask if I would administer the oath of office to them or the oath of enlistment to them, I'd tell them, I'm happy to do that, but I'd like you to read the Declaration and the Constitution first. Because that's the language of the oath. We swear to support and defend the Constitution against its enemies, foreign and domestic. And believe me, despite whatever's going on in the world right now, we've got far more enemies of our republic and of our Constitution here at home than we've ever had abroad. And it is that domestic threat that I saw playing out at a breakneck pace within our armed forces while I was in command that compelled me to write that formal written complaint to the Space Force Inspector General's office in Episode 1.